Alright guys, welcome back to iiKnows. We're going to be going over the main part of free agency that just happened in the NFL. I think we're going to go and start out in Oakland. We're going to go start out with the Trent Brown signing. And
Okay. Talk about everything the Raiders did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the only reason we waited this long is because we were waiting for the remaining big-time free agents to sign, but it's gone to the point can't really wait, want to put out another mock draft, so got to get this out the way.
Yeah, Trent Brown, biggest contract by an offensive lineman. I don't know how this will figure for the Raiders. Maybe it'll be a disaster. Maybe it'll be something that's worth their while. But there's great prospects in this draft, so I'm surprised they went out and signed Trent Brown.
Yeah, Trent Brown had a really good season last year, and everything on film says that he's like a surefire good signing because he was technically sound. He did everything right. He just looked like a good franchise tackle for the future. But what people don't take into account is Nate Solder looked the same way. Many Patriots offensive linemen do the same thing. Josh Klein, who just got signed by the Vikings, correct?
Yeah.
Whenever he was with the Patriots, he looked great. Titans, not so much. But that's just the impact of Dante Scarnecchia and the Patriots offensive line coaches. And they just maximize your playing ability. So anytime you sign a Patriots lineman to a big contract like this, it's always going to be a risk. But I have faith in Trent Brown.
Well, let's talk about the real big news with the Raiders, and that's Antonio Brown getting traded there.
Mm-hmm.
What was it for?
A third and a fifth.
Yeah. Derek Carr is going to find his new best friend, basically. And this is something this organization needed, a revival, maybe a new phase, a new fresh start. We'll see how it goes. My season prediction for Antonio Brown's stat line, I think he's going to get around 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, that move, it was a really good move. They got a steal there, but it's kind of confusing to me. Because, like, you traded away your best players last year and got worse just to give away assets. And, I don't know. Like, it seems like a weird move, but it's definitely a good move, and Derek Carr's going to be able to take that next step. And pairing Antonio Brown with Tyrell Williams, it's going to be great for the Oakland Raiders offense.
They got Tyrell Williams.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Pretty sure it was Tyrell Williams. It was either him or Dontrell Williams. No, it was Tyrell Williams. Yeah. Sorry. But yeah, it's going to be great, and it's going to be a fun team to watch.
Well, if we're going to be talking about wide receivers, we might as well just go to Cleveland and talk about Odell Beckham Jr., the trade. Heist. That's what they're calling it. They're calling it a heist.
Well, in my opinion, when you compare the Antonio Brown trade and the Odell Beckham trade, I mean, the Giants really did do a lot better than the Steelers. And Antonio Brown's definitely a better wide receiver than Odell Beckham. So it's not as bad as people say it is, in my opinion.
Odell's younger.
Yeah.
Increases value tremendously. Anyways, I feel like there's a great trade for both sides, but the Giants could have got a lot more out of it, and I think. But I'm glad that they addressed their offensive line in that situation and their defense more, because those are really the two things that were lacking on that team. And if you have to give up Odell to get it, if you like it, I love it.
I mean, for the Giants, it's kind of just what are you doing? But whatever. But for the Browns, this is a move that's going to put them in, a lot of people's opinions, Super Bowl contention. I don't personally think so. They still have a young quarterback, a young team, first-year head coach. So I think maybe in 2 years they'll be that contender. But as for this season, it's definitely a huge step in the right direction.
Yeah, it really is. And it's also a big step in the right direction for the Baltimore Ravens getting Earl Thomas after losing Eric Weddle and C.J. Mosley. Yeah, and then who could forget about the Chiefs signing Tyrann Mathieu?
Yeah.
That was a pretty big signing. They needed safety help, but they let Eric Berry go. I still don't know where he's going. Where Justin Houston go?
He's unsigned. He signed with the Colts.
Yeah, so that's pretty big for the Colts too.
Yeah. So they lost Justin Houston, Steven Nelson. He was their nickel guy. They lost Eric Berry. Tyrann Mathieu should be able to step in. He should be able to almost replace Eric Berry, and he should be able to replace Steven Nelson. He can kind of do both of those
roles.
Yeah, he can do both of those roles pretty well. He's going to fit with the Chiefs defense pretty well and make a pretty big impact for them.
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about Justin Houston or Nick Foles next?
I mean, Justin Houston going to the Colts, I feel like that is a move that
it's a little under the radar.
it's confusing to me
Yeah.
because I don't really know that. I don't think the Colts really run a 3-4.
No, they run a 4-3.
Yeah, so that's perplexing me to see why he signed with the Colts. I mean, I know they had the money to sign him.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was probably his best offer out of the early offers. I guess the Colts probably think, just put him at 4-3 DN, let him get after the passer every play, and see what he can do, because that's really his. He was never really great in coverage. He was just serviceable in his prime. So now it might be better for him to be in a 4-3 defensive end role.
Yeah.
But it could be it could end up being a very big signing, but I don't think he's going to be able to.
Game changer.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be able to match his production, and if he can, I don't think he's going to be healthy enough to do it the whole season.
Yeah, I agree, and it was a decent signing.
Yeah.
Nick Foles, though, for the Jags, many people called this. I think we did too.
Yeah.
Then Jacksonville.
He's a starting quarterback. Everyone in the Eagles locker room loves him, so hopefully he can kind of calm down all the drama that's going on there. He can be
A vocal leader that is taken seriously and everybody can rally around.
He can be a calming presence. He fits in with John DeFilippo's system, I assume. Hopefully John DeFilippo can get things going because the Jaguars really need it, and at this point they deserve it. And pairing him with a good offensive line, not really
some receivers.
Yeah, not really any weapons, but they could be able to attack that in the draft because they don't have a lot of other needs. They have a good running back. Maybe they should get a scat back, but
We'll see.
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens, they really increased their defensive backfield with this move with Earl Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great acquisition and a great. I think this is a great fit for Earl Thomas personally, and I feel like he can go back to the true, maybe one of the best safeties in the league for him in Baltimore, and that would be amazing in a division that's going to have Odell and Jarvis Landry now.
Yeah, it was a really good move for the Ravens. It was kind of, as far as leadership goes, maybe laterally, but Earl Thomas is going to be able to double the production that Eric Weddle gave to them, and it's going to be as far as in the secondary goes, the Ravens got better, but they did lose C.J. Mosley. I think that's a huge loss for them. Earl Thomas is going to be able to make up for the communication that him and Eric Weddle had, but losing a piece like that in the middle is a pretty big loss.
Yeah, it's a pretty big loss, but I don't think it's something that they will miss extremely. I feel like they'll be able to have people come in, fill in the role, and be able to make the tackles that C.J. Mosley made. Maybe not as great as a leader or a coverage guy, but if they can still find guys that can go and wrap up guys around the middle of the field, fill in their lanes, fill in their gaps, they'll be perfectly fine. But let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams now.
All right.
Who they brought in. They brought in Eric Weddle. Dante Fowler got re-signed. They brought in Clay Matthews as well. Sue's most likely not going to go back. He's still unsigned because of that signing. They didn't get any. They lost their center. They didn't re-sign LaMarcus Joyner. I don't know. They're doing whatever they want to do. I'm not a fan of what they've done this offseason.
Yeah, no, definitely not. They brought in Eric Weddle and Clay Matthews when I think if you just didn't give them that money and paid LaMarcus Joyner, you'd be better off as a defense. I mean, Eric Weddle's a pretty good safety. Clay Matthews, he's pretty good, but gave a lot of money for him. He can be a rotational edge rusher at this point.
Yeah.
You gave up a lot of money for a guy who's, at max, a rotational guy. And you already have Samson Ebukam and Dante Fowler.
Yeah. Well, Rams, good luck with those acquisitions.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a great year for the Rams next season compared to last year. I mean, they would still go like 10-6, but it's not going to be the same.
And then the Jets. Oh my God. They got Le'Veon Bell for less than $70 million. That's a steal.
Is it though?
I mean, it's better than what the Steelers offered.
Yeah, I mean, reports said that he was 260 pounds though. It's a pretty hefty running back.
Oh well, they got C.J. Mosley too.
Yeah.
They got Anthony Barr. Oh wait,
no, they didn't get Anthony Barr. They almost got Anthony Barr, but he said no.
You know who they did get from Minnesota?
Who?
Trevor Siemian and Tom Compton.
Those are great signings. But yeah,
How
signing the
those
offensive
guys.
lineman that was a backup for a terrible offensive line. But
Yeah.
yeah, they did have some really good signings in free agency. And as far as the Le'Veon Bell signing goes, I think that's great for Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
He absolutely needs someone to be able to rely on as a check down guy, dump off, and someone who can actually run the ball. I mean, last year they had Bilal Powell and Isaiah Crowell. They both kind of have their roles, but Le'Veon Bell is everything you want in a running back.
He's an every down back. He's a guy that can do it all. Block. Just throw him out on the field, Sam Darnold. You got yourself your own check down guy now.
Yeah, in the middle of that defense, it's looking pretty scary to run on, too.
Yeah.
Having Avery Williams and C.J. Mosley as middle linebackers, Leonard Williams on the defensive line, it's a pretty solid unit
The
there.
number 3 overall draft pick.
Yeah. And they have Henry Anderson and Steve McClendon. Those are good run stoppers. So it should be pretty hard to run on them this season.
Yeah, it should. And we forgot who the Baltimore Ravens got. They also got Mark Ingram.
Yeah, I was going to say something about that, but you
Forgot.
said no role players, so it's like, because Mark Ingram, he's like borderline.
He's gonna be a featured player though.
I'm not big on Mark Ingram.
Get a load of this guy. Anyways.
I mean, I think he's going to add something to the offense, but it's not like he's an elite running back.
Okay, well the Saints did get I think this is pretty big for them. They got Jared Cook.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty big because Breeze has been missing that target.
Yeah.
Like,
The big guy in the middle.
Yeah, since Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
I mean, he has his number 1 option in Michael Thomas still, but they haven't had that number 2.
Right, and Jared Cook is a guy who has a very similar athletic ability and play style to Jimmy Graham. I think he's going to be able to slide right into that role that they've been missing since they traded Jimmy Graham.
Yeah.
And that's been a big thing holding back the Saints offense, I think, because whenever they had Jimmy Graham, they were so dangerous. So dangerous.
Very dangerous. They also got Latavius Murray, which is he's gonna. I expect Alvin Kamara to still get the heavy workload that he's gonna get. I think he's gonna get a little bit increased more.
It should be
snap
like
count.
65% Kamara, 35% Murray.
I'm gonna say it's 70, 30.
Mm.
Just to be different, just because.
All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's move on to the next signing. Landon Collins. You want to talk about that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Landon Collins, the guy that
Yeah.
got paid a lot of money for.
He did get paid a lot of money, but, you know,
He's not worth the.
thing is,
He's not worth the
2 years ago,
2.
he was a leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. Last year, he was still a top 5 safety.
Not according to PFF.
What does PFF know? PFF doesn't know what they're doing.
Well,
The Redskins got a top 5 safety. They overpaid a little bit. I'll admit that. They overpaid probably about $3 million a year. They probably overpaid about $3 million a year. So 12 mil total, right? No.
pretty sure he's getting 15.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. They should have gave him about 12 mil a year.
Probably should give him like 10.
Landon Collins is still a top 5 safety, and it's a huge addition for this Redskins team that, despite all the injuries and all the issues last year, still went 7-9. That's a big move to me. If they can get their quarterback, that's a big move.
It's better than what they had, but I don't think paying that price tag was worth it. They probably could have got Eric Weddle for cheap. And
Yeah, but
just-
he's not as good, and he's
doesn't-
older. So
you don't need.
he wanted to go back to LA
Well,
or back in that area.
yeah. Well,
Yeah. Just let the Rams have the beard. We'll take Landon Collins.
Landon Collins was great in like
Former potential defensive player of the year.
Well, he was graded in round 50 on PFF, and you know the Vikings they kind of re-signed their own guy to a second round tender. He's number 3 in PFF's grade for safeties this
He's
year,
not as good though.
but he is that good according to PFF.
Yeah, but PFF doesn't know what they're talking about. PFF has Brandon Graham as the number 1 edge rusher. He got like 3 sacks last year. I think he got like 7 or something, but still, PFF doesn't know what they're talking about.
PFF, I think you guys should hit us up and we can get on the stream together and Trent can talk to you guys about this because I would love to be in this debate with
Yeah,
Trent and PFF right now.
yeah, I can't stand PFF. But anyways, are there any more big signings that you want to talk about? Maybe what the Packers did. They brought in Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith. They paid good money for him though. They paid him like top edge rushers. They're expecting them to step in and be able to be those top edge rushers. And this is a move that the Packers don't really do that often. So what do you think about it? That's all you think about it. It's not going to make a difference for him.
Oh, I'm scared. They got
Well,
Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith.
Preston Smith as a Redskins.
Oh.
Preston Smith as a Redskins
Role
fan, I can
players.
say he's an okay pass rusher, but he's going to be great for stopping the run. A huge step up over Nick Perry. And Zadarius Smith, he can get after the quarterback. So,
Yeah, that's why they're edge rushers.
all right. Is there anything else that you want to talk about? Maybe where Ndamukong.
You mean Trey
So-
Flowers to the Detroit Lions? I think that's more appealing to the NFC North than Zadarius Smith or Preston Smith to the Packers.
I mean, they paid good money for him, so
Well,
something
that's
to
their
talk
own
about.
loss. It's their own loss.
Okay, so that's your opinion.
Yeah, it's their own loss.
All right, so the Lions. What do you think about them signing Trey Flowers?
Trey Flowers is a great young player, edge talent. Fits Matt Patricia's defense pretty well, I'd say. I think he's going to be able to replicate what he did 2 years ago pretty well. Pretty well.
All right. Well,
Well, that's all I have.
for me, Trey Flowers, I think if he signed pretty much anywhere else except for maybe with the Dolphins, it would be a bad signing. Because Trey Flowers is that guy. He's not like a 3-4 defensive end. He's not a 4-3 DN. He's not a D tackle. He's just kind of a tweener in everything. But he can kind of do everything pretty well. So he fits perfectly for that hybrid defense that the Patriots and Lions and now Dolphins run. And I think the Lions signing him, he's going to be able to match the production he had in New England. And I don't think he'd be able to do that anywhere else.
Yeah, I agree with those statements. He fits well with what he knows, and what he knows is the New England system.
Yeah.
And, there's a guy going to New England. His name's Michael Bennett for a pretty crappy draft pick. I think that was a great replacement. Patriots just sign, draft, trade perfectly.
Yeah, Michael Bennett was kind of a non-factor last year in Philadelphia, but I think people forget how great he was in Seattle.
Yeah,
Because the Seattle kind of has the same type of hybrid defense. They're more 4-3 reliant, where the Patriots are more 3-4 reliant. So it's a little different, but they're both the hybrid type defenses. He's going to be playing the same type of role, and what he was able to do in Seattle, he's going to be able to replicate in New England perfectly. It's going to be a huge piece for them, I think.
Yeah, I think we should wrap this up by talking about the greatest franchise in NFL history. Who am I going to say?
We already talked about them.
To the Patriots?
No, the greatest franchise in NFL history.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
No, we didn't. If you're going to say the Packers.
No, we talked about the Redskins already.
No.
How many Super Bowls do Vikings have?
You don't need any. How many were you alive for?
Very fair point.
Very fair.
So what did the Vikings do in free agency?
They re-signed their boy Anthony Barr. He took the pay cut the last hour.
If you say Zadarius Smith and
He was
Preston
going
Smith,
to get married.
if you say,
and he left at the last hour.
All right, so
at
listen.
the 13th hour, and he went back
but
to
listen,
his toxic girlfriend.
but listen,
That he.
if you're gonna say Preston
Love.
Smith and Zadarius Smith mean nothing, then the Vikings overpaying for a 3-4 linebacker to play in a 4-3
They
system,
didn't overpay him.
they overpaid.
They didn't overpay him. The
If the
guarantees.
Reds- if the
the
Redskins-
guarantees.
If the Redskins overpaid, the Vikings overpaid.
He got guaranteed like.
He doesn't do
24
anything.
million.
He doesn't do anything.
You know.
He doesn't make an impact in any
Teams
games.
game plan for him, Trent. Teams game plan for him.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. Well, according to Mike Zimmer, teams game plan around Anthony Barr and what
They
he
don't.
can do and his skill sets.
They do not.
So,
Anthony Barr is a 3-4 outside linebacker being forced in a 4-3 system. The Vikings overpaid for him, and he doesn't make an impact on the field. If Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith mean something, Anthony Barr really means nothing.
all right, well, we're going to wrap this up, and we hope you guys have a great day. Like, subscribe, and share this video.